Hey guys, happy IBS month. Is it even legal to say that? Probably not. But I know exactly how it feels to have irritable bowel syndrome, and I had that for a long time. And I want to talk to you about that today to tell you a little bit about my story because I want to give you hope for yours. And the truth is that most people that I meet are having some sort of GI type symptoms. But the truth is you don't really have to have those types of symptoms to have a gut issue. But if you do, then you probably know that you're having bouts of constipation, diarrhea, all those different things, pain, bloating, gas, and those are pretty obvious signs that there's something going on in the gut. So if that's you, this message is specifically for you today. I know if you're like me, you're probably a self-healer and you've probably been trying to do this on your own for a long time. However, I don't really recommend that. But if you do it, then I'd at least like for you to have a little bit of guidance on how to make the most progress doing that. So I have a 6-step gut healing process that I actually take my clients through, and I want to share that with you today so that you can make the most of your health journey when it comes to your gut. So the first thing I want to tell you is that you really want to appropriately assess the situation before you start doing a lot of things. One of the things that we make a mistake of doing is saying, oh, well, let's just get on a probiotic and I think that's going to heal it. Or let's take L-glutamine and that'll heal the problem, right? Or we start putting in all these killing agents, as I like to call them. Even if it's herbs, or we go to the doctor and it's an antibiotic, and we start putting things in to get rid of those symptoms that are piling up on us like day after day. And the problem is that we are almost assaulting the gut when it comes to that. And we really want to make sure that we are loving ourselves back to health and not assaulting ourselves trying to bring health. So the key is really assess what's going on. And I like to do this by using functional lab tests as well as a really detailed assessment that tells me a little bit about what is going on. And it's going to reveal the area of the issue. So sometimes when you have gut issues, you're also going to have things like skin rashes. Some people get a white coating on their tongue, or women may get vaginal yeast infections and things like that. So if you have those signs and symptoms, then just know that that is also a sign that there could be something going on with your gut. So the second thing that you really want to do after you've assessed the issue, you figured out where the problem is you really want to open up some of those drainage pathways. So a lot of times we start putting in all of these herbs and things to try to get rid of and heal the issue, or even antibiotics for that case. We start putting things in and we don't have open drainage pathways. So what happens is we start to have a release and our body's trying to get rid of those pathogens and the toxins, but in the process, it doesn't have a way to escape. So if those drainage pathways, which means, just how toxins exit the body, if those are closed, then we're not going to be making much progress, and we can actually make ourselves sicker in the long run. So some of the things that you can do naturally are things like castor oil packs, coffee enemas, skin brushing. You can get in the sauna. Those are the natural ways, and work with a practitioner if you want to do some of the other ways. There's just a lot of different ways to open those drainage pathways that I don't have time to go into today. But the next thing, once those drainage pathways are open, then you're safe to kind of purge out the bad bacteria or the bad bugs, whatever kind of pathogens you find. It could be parasites, it could be bacteria, it could be a more overgrowth of fungus, things like that. But you really can start to purge those things out. This is where I see the biggest mistake is people are starting to put really strong antibiotics, or, I meet people and they've been on antibiotics for 3 and 4 years at a time because they have some sort of gut infection. Okay, well, if it's not working in the first month or 2 months or 3 months or a year, what makes you think it's going to work 4 years down the road? I know you feel better when you have all that stuff in there, the antibiotics, because you're hushing down that infection. You're hushing down the symptoms, right? You're keeping things kind of quiet. But the problem with that is that you never heal the infection. and it's causing a bigger disruption in your gut in the meantime. So you really want to think about this as more like, when I think about a purge, I'm thinking about, let's politely break up the party. Let's ask people to leave. Like when the cops go and they break up a party at someone's house, they don't go in like blowing people down, right? They go in and they say, hey guys, neighbors have called the cops. You guys are going to have to quieten it down. We're going to ask you to leave, or we're going to have to carry you out of here. And that's really what we want to do with a gut. We want to go in and kindly say, hello, we're shifting the environment here. We're changing things up. We're changing the terrain. So you guys aren't going to have a home for very long. We're about to kick you out. And that's really how I like to clean up the gut, instead of going in there and like assaulting them with a rifle, right? Okay, so there's your purge, and then you're going to start to work on that leaky gut. Now, you probably heard about leaky gut, and that just means that your intestinal lining has got a little bit weak. It typically only allows things like vitamins, minerals, nutrients, amino acids, those types of things to pass through into circulation. But if we allow the gut to get leaky from toxins, herbicides, pesticides, stress, all those different things, then food particles and medications and all those other bigger particles are going to start leaking into circulation. So if you have stomach issues like tummy aches, gas, bloating, diarrhea, constipation, all those things, you probably have a little bit of leaky gut going on. If you have a reaction to something every time you eat it, you probably have a little bit of leaky gut going on, right? So you really want to make sure that you're working to correct that issue. And then the next step is really coming back in and reseeding the gut with really good, healthy probiotics. Now, the mistake that I see is that a lot of people bring these things in too early. Oh, I have a gut issue, so let me just take some probiotics. And the truth is it just doesn't work like that. So we have to make sure that we have created a terrain that can actually handle probiotics. And if you take them and you don't feel any ill effects from them, that's perfectly fine. But some types of bacteria infections will actually get worse if we put probiotics in. It can cause fermentation in the gut. It can cause a lot of different things to take place. And people say, well, I can't take probiotics. I'm just sensitive to them. And the truth about that is you probably just aren't ready for those. And you really want to work on the pH. You got to get the pH back. If you don't work on the pH in your gut, then you're never going to truly redo that terrain. If you have proper pH, you're setting up an environment in your gut so that those guys don't want to come back in and set up shop. So that's what I mean by purging the bacteria out very kindly and then resetting the stage with good, healthy pH, really good, healthy foods. And then you have made a home for good, healthy bacteria. You're starting to put those in. They're starting to get fed with the foods that you're feeding them. And then you're going to be on your way to a really happy, healthy gut instead of one that's irritable all the time. Okay? The last thing I want to tell you about really is taking care of your emotions. Now, a lot of people don't think about their emotions when it comes to gut health. And this is really, really big stuff, because sometimes when you do a purge and you're purging out all these bugs and you're cleaning up all this old protein and this old cellular debris on these detoxes, sometimes I have people call me and they say, oh my gosh, I've been crying. What is wrong with me? I feel like I'm releasing all this emotional stuff. I don't know what's going on. I've been so emotional lately. And the truth is that you are purging a lot of these emotional things out. And I have a mentor, Deborah Wayne. She says, you have to feel in order to heal. And if you don't learn to feel those emotions and release those, and you start burying those and trapping them down, then guess what? You don't get to heal the entire process. And if you don't do that, like the whole process, then you're probably going to end up sick again. And this is why people end up in this vicious cycle and they can't figure out, why am I constantly sick? Why do I feel like the entire world's crashing on me when it comes to my health? Why do I heal one thing and it moves to another area? Well, you got a little demon in there called emotions that you haven't dealt with, and you really got to work on those if you want to truly heal. So in my practice, I really focus on wholeness, mind, body, and spirit. I believe that we're whole creatures. We can't just do one thing and find healing. If you try to heal the emotional stuff, then you're not going to heal the physical, and you don't work on the physical, then there's not going to be a true connection, and vice versa, right? So if you're ready to dig in to your health and you really want some freedom, then you have to work on both sides. So I hope you guys find this helpful. Let me know what questions you have about your irritable bowel, because this is something that I'm truly passionate about. I spent years of my life sick from irritable bowel, and guess what? There is a major gut hormone connection. So if you have hormone issues, then 90% of the time, I would say there's probably a gut issue underlying that you probably need to address before you even touch your hormones. I see so much hormone balance come into place once the gut has been worked on. So let me know how I can help you, and we'll talk to you soon.